Really? There we go. Okay. So
Yeah.
I am so thrilled to have Sophia. I'm sorry, I do not know how to pronounce your last name.
I'm sure I did that on purpose. Just Aves. Aves is fine. There's nothing fancy about it.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
So we're going to be talking about list building. Is there a specific, I think there is a specific way that you're talking about list building rather than every way on earth, which would be very comprehensive.
I'll cover a couple of things. But it's mostly book funnel. I want to go through book funnel because that's the thing I get asked about the most. So
okay, and I think that for me, that's great. I have resisted book funnels mainly because for years I could never download a book from book funnels, and then I finally found out that there's a specific process that you go through if you have
and it changes. I swear they changed the button, the location and the download button, and then you get that stupid little HTML little thing that goes in instead of the book. No, I understand your pain. I really do.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled that you're going to cover this with us. And if you want to just take over, I don't know if you want to share a screen. If so, we can do that. Otherwise, just
all right. Thanks.
Sophia, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm in Sydney. Where are you?
I'm west of it, about an hour west of Ipswich, so halfway between Brisbane and Toowoomba.
Awesome.
We're in the middle of it. We're very rural.
Yeah,
I grew up in
nice.
Newcastle.
I thought I heard the accent. I'm like, ooh.
You watch, if Paula talks long enough and I listen to enough Americans, I'll start to sound like one, and then I can't get rid of it for the rest of the day. I've got a girlfriend in SoCal and her accent is really very strong, and I will sound like Terry for days on end and I can't get rid of it. I did it in the shop once when I used to work. I picked up this guy's Irish accent, and the wife turned around to me and she said, "Are you Irish?" I'm like, "Shit, no. I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm going to sound like this like for the rest of the day now. I can't help it."
That's so good.
That's funny. So do you prefer to take questions as they come up, or would you like the questions put in the chat and answer them at the end?
I think let me get through reader magnets and book funnel first, and then do questions on those so we don't get them lost. And then if we've got time, I'll go through a couple of other little things that you can do as well, if that's all right.
All right, sounds great.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, well, hello, I'm Sophia Aves. Some of you might know me. I can see some names I recognise. Rochelle, hi, Marcy, etc. I'm a romance writer. I write every day. I pretty much live and breathe publishing and writing and marketing. I did marketing at university in Newcastle. I meant to start off in archaeology, but my lecturer, Godfrey Tanner, passed away in my second year, and I thought I was going to do history, and my mum pushed me into marketing. So that's where I ended up, and it sort of stuck really, really well. I've got over 150 things published, over 4 pen names, and I started writing 3.5 years ago. So I write all the time. Some of those are kid-lit, so there are picture books in there, and there's translations as well. So they're short little things. I hit USA Today last year on December 23rd, the day before my birthday. So I was very, very happy with that. And I picked up a new agent just last week, and she's just sold a 6-book deal for me this morning. So I'm really, really happy. Marketing is probably what I do more than writing, to be perfectly honest. And if you look at some of the stats of different income levels and earnings from authoring and how much marketing people do, you'll find that there is a relationship between lower income when you first start out. It is more writing and less marketing as you work your way through. For the people that are earning the $10,000 a month, there is a lot more marketing going on, but their marketing is more condensed, it's structured, and they understand exactly what they're doing at that level. So there is more marketing than writing sometimes at higher levels at different points in their careers. And one of the best ways to do your marketing, it's one of the cheapest ways too, is to build your newsletter list, because it's the only list that you actually own. You don't own your Facebook or your social media followers. You don't own Your TikTok followers, if those platforms crash on you or they disappear overnight, which we all think probably won't happen, but it does. People lose their profiles all the time. Your newsletter list is the only thing that you can actually keep, because those newsletter subscribers have subscribed to you and they've agreed that they're going to let you send links to them. You can download your newsletter list as well, so you can keep it as a backup file as well, just in case something does happen to your platform. And the best thing is they are really, really easy to use. So the best ways to start, if you don't have a newsletter already, is use MailChimp or MailerLite. I think MailerLite still has it. They have a free platform, so they have up to 2,000 or 2,500. They have a free level where you can learn to use the platform, understand it. MailChimp is really quite easy, and it looks really, really pretty. It gives you really lovely sort of newsletter to look at. The two things that I hear most are, I don't know where to find readers or subscribers, and I don't know what to put in my newsletter. So finding newsletter readers is really, really easy. BookFunnel is your friend. And the two of them, in MailChimp, BookFunnel, and a couple of other platforms also integrate really, really easily. And there are a couple of 5-minute short YouTube videos on how to integrate them, but it's very intuitive. If I can do it, believe me, anyone can, because I can break it to poster. So trust me, if this is something I've got my head around, you guys can do it too. What you need is a reader magnet. So the bottom line for this entire strategy to gain readers is a reader magnet. A reader magnet is a short story that relates directly to one of your books that you have either on pre-order or for sale, because they're going, your readers, when they get it, are going to go through it. And at the end, there is a link to your book, just one link, that's it, to your next book. You want them to be so invested in those characters that at the end of that book, they have to go and buy your next book. So you're asking them to go from free, which we all know people will download stuff from free. They'll even bitch about it. They'll give you 1 star on free stuff. It's amazing how much people hate free stuff sometimes. You're going to ask them to go from being free to paying for your book. Now, it doesn't matter if it's 99 cents or $4.99 or $6.99. If they're not invested, they don't bond with your characters, they won't buy your book. So that's your first job, is to write a reader magnet that is some of your best work, because it's going to be, for a lot of readers, the first thing they see of yours. So make it be on brand, make it characters that they absolutely adore, make it a book that leads directly into your next book that you want them to read. So there's 2 sorts of funnels here that I've come across that people get confused about. BookFunnel is the platform. Funneling is taking your reader from one book to another. So you want them to funnel from your reader magnet directly to the next book you want them to buy. At the end of that book, you want them, hey Lolo, you want them to funnel to the next book, and so on, and right through your backlist. And you want to watch those funnels and make sure they're going in the right directions. I can talk about that later too. So reader magnet, my sweet spot is 7 to 10K for a reader magnet. I found it's a really good length. People will go from that and they'll buy that next book, that first interview, straight away. So I found that works really, really well for me. Other people do shorter, they do 2 to 5, and it works for them. Some other people like to put out a full 50,000 or 60,000 word book, whatever you're happy to do. I don't want to put a 50 or 60,000 word book out there because I'm tight and I want them to buy the book. I want to see ranking on it. I want them to give me money, and I want them to read through my series. This is the business side of the art stick, all right? So we're at the other end here. We want money out of these people because that allows us to keep buying covers and editors and all the other things that we need to actually survive. So on BookFunnel, when you go to upload your reader magnet, you've got your reader magnet, you've turned it into a Mobi or an EPUB file or whatever we're currently using. I think EPUB is standard at the moment. And it's the best book that you can write for your series. You need a freaking brilliant cover. It needs to be on genre. It needs to be on brand. It needs to show your world. So my best reader magnet is Breach of Duty, is the prequel to Blue Blooded Brothers. First book in the series is Collision. I still, 2.5 years later, get 500 subscribers a month from that book. So you don't run out of people to get through. My personal list is 25,000. So, and I've built that in just over 2 years. So you need your book ready to go. You need your cover that's going to be shit hot and absolutely gorgeous. You need a trope-laden and hooky blurb. So the hardest thing you'll ever do is write a gorgeous blurb. The great thing is you can always go back and tweak it. If it's not working, you can go back and tweak it. BookFunnel has a specific way that it presents your blurb. So the first hook that we all write, our first little sentence that's quite hooky, that will come up really quite large letters compared to the rest and bolded. And while a hook works really, really well, something that you've stuffed with keywords for your tropes for that specific book or series works better on this platform alone. So I found that you can have the most wonderful thing about his obsession and her obsession and how they're going to fall in love and rip each other's hearts out. But if you say that he's a mountain man CEO who runs a BDSM club and is a sports fanatic in the meantime, you'll find that you've just found 4 audiences who want that book straight away because you're reading it like that. It is a click. They see the cover, 1 second, they see the hook, and it probably takes another 2 seconds. It's just like when you meet somebody and you've got 4 seconds to make your first impression. This is your 4 seconds. So make it work. So that cover has to be brilliant. The hook has to be brilliant. The rest of the blurb, tell them a bit about the book. Don't make it too long. 120 words is all you need. You don't need a 6-stanza, a 6-paragraph blurb for a short book that's 10,000 words or even a longer one. You just want them to click on it. It's a free book. You don't have to sell it too hard because they already clicked the link, so they already want it. You've just got to convince them to click the link below. So really awesome cover, brilliant hook stuffed with keywords, and your blurb, short little blurb that's great, ends on a hook. Always end on a hook so that they want to know more. You need them to feel the need to buy this book or download this book so that they will read it. And then at the end of that book is your link to your next book so they buy it. So write a really, really good story. Get it alpha read, get it beta read, get it edited. Make it your best work to date. You don't have to have one. I've got 7. Okay, every time I put out a new series, there is a new one there. If I'm going into a new genre, I've got sports romance and college romance coming up in the next 2 years. They will get their own reader magnets because currently I'm building on PNR, romantic suspense, police procedurals, and cowboys. I don't have any sports or college romance in those, so I need another reader magnet for those series to draw people in so that I'm getting the right readers. So I'm developing an audience for those books. The super fans for the other books will come across anyway, usually. So I've got about 40 of them who just, and other authors who are much bigger than me have huge amounts of these people. But, you know, I've got that little bunch of people who buy everything that I write, and that's fantastic because you want to keep those people. They are the people who will just keep you alive, and you can keep developing these people by spreading out a little bit, diversifying, bringing people across and running them through your backlist so that you get them in all your sales as well. And that's where your book funneling comes in. The link at the back of the book, funneling people from book to book to book. Branching off sideways for a little second, with the book funneling, watch your funnels. Lolo knows what I'm going to say here because I said it in a meeting earlier this week. I had my books funneling from one series to another. But instead of funneling this way, my readers went this way. And I was missing a whole section of people who I thought were going to come around to a different series, and they started a new one instead. And it's consistent. When I look at my sales on KDP and my page reads, I can see they are moving from book to book to book. I can see which direction they're moving in. I had to go back and redo all my funnels for those books because I got it wrong. So watch what people are doing, watch what your readers are doing, where they're going, and make sure that it's the right direction. If it's working, fantastic. If not, go tweak it. There is nothing that can't not be tweaked. Okay, so that's on reader magnets. Is there anything anyone wants to ask on that bit?
So it definitely has to be related to your series. I know you're trying to funnel them into buying your series. So I guess, yes, it does. Okay, I'm just going to have to try and rethink this now. Oh, God. Yes, okay.
Even if it's so series work best with a main character or a side character who continues through the entire series. So let's use James Bond. M is a favourite character, not a main character, side character. But we all love M, right?
Yeah.
Has changed actors so many times and gender and all that sort of stuff. Doctor Who, the Master, or Missy, is a common character. So you could do a story based on your common character, and it doesn't have to be the end story.
Yeah.
So one of mine is the guy who runs the police task workforce, and he doesn't get a book for another 6 books.
Yeah,
but
okay.
it's still popular. It's still a popular one.
Okay, I have a question also.
Yeah.
Currently, for my historical romances, I have 2 reader magnets that are for, okay, my first novel is the hero and heroine. My reader magnets are his parents and her parents. You know,
That's cool. I love it.
You know, to kind of give a little bit of backstory.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, if I knew what I knew now, I would rewrite that whole first book, but it's not going to happen. But that's what I had done, and I you know,
yeah,
it's a hard thing to self-evaluate sometimes as to whether or not you've done something right. So you saying it's cool makes me think it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I went through a massive history phase for a good 10, 14 years, and I read across times. Like, I wasn't stuck in Regency for too long. You know, like, you know, if you're a history reader, you're interested in those parts because history is part about going back in legacy. So I think that's fantastic. What's your hook at the end of it to draw them into your book? What do you have you've read about their story, now read about their kids, point them this direction, or how do you do it?
The way mine works is that I have a reader magnet to get them on my list, and I think it's my second or third email I send them the other reader magnet, so they get
nice,
you know, both sides, and both of those have links into the book.
Yep, fantastic. Awesome.
And I heard you say at the beginning that reader magnets are short stories. And I've heard so much from various people: short stories, yes; novellas, yes; full-length novels, yes. I am a slow writer, so it's not going to be 1, 2, or 3 full-length novels for reader magnets.
No, I agree. If you're going to hook them, you've hooked them in a short enough period. You know, if you've done your job well, there's plenty of people out there who use novellas as reader magnets, and I do it, and honestly, it works just fine if you do it well.
Yeah,
and you know when you haven't done it well because you read it and you know you've missed the mark.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm going to redo mine. I think they're only like 7,500 words at this point. They started out at 10,000. I tightened it up and brought it down to 7,500. But I was a little bit hesitant to put too much steam in them. So the reader magnets are sweet and clean, and my books are far from that. So I need to read my reader magnets.
Yeah, mate, if whatever is in your main books that you're aiming at, make it the same level. I've made that mistake too before, and I've got one that I need to fix as well. That's for a wide series, and it's missing the mark on a few things. So I need to go back and redo it. So, like you said, you know, when you know, you know. Hey, Lolo.
Oh, hi. I have 2 questions. The first one is, if you write a magnet for a series, can you just do an origin story that leads them into the first book, even though the rest of the books are different couples? I don't have one.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay, so that works. Okay.
Yeah.
And also my next question is, some authors that I talk to put their magnet on Amazon for sale for like 99 cents or $1.99. I mean, is that a bad thing to do? You have it on BookFunnel as a magnet for free, and then you sell it sell it in the market?
Yeah, there's 2 different ways to look at that, I think. One is that you're trying to use the reader magnet as an exclusive strategy, and that's the strategy you hold to, that it's exclusive, that you can't get it anywhere else. And that way, that's the only way that you capture them. Otherwise, you're not capturing them with the 99-cent book. You might get read through, but you also might not, even if it's free. Like, I've got a Murmur free on Amazon that is also a reader magnet. But like I said, I've got quite a few. So for me, my strategy is to diversify away from the exclusive ones and have the exclusive on BookFunnel, but also have a couple of perma-frees and some 99-cents ones to capture different parts of the audience. But that's my strategy. If I would suggest, if you're just starting out, pick one and work on that. And once you've got that nailed down and you know it's working really, really well for you, then try something else or duplicate it and try and capture twice as much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So BookFunnel. So once you've got your reader
Sarah
magnet,
has a question.
oh,
Does Sarah
sorry.
have
Hi, Sarah. Sorry.
Would you take and use the reader magnet that you have on Amazon and direct it? That way it's directed towards it. Can you do that same reader magnet in your BookFunnel? Would that help or hurt you?
Sorry, I missed that first bit. I'm sorry, Del.
So like if we put a perma-free or a reader magnet on Amazon and direct that and use that link, because it's still taking you back to Amazon, does that help or hurt you?
For me, my perma-free gets around 50 downloads a day, and then they buy the next book in the series. So I'm capturing people that way to read through the series, but it's not the same as capturing their newsletter, their name, the newsletter, because I don't capture all those people. So like I said, that's the first perma-free I've done in quite a while. I find that I get more bang for my buck out of an exclusive reader magnet, to be perfectly honest. But you can also use them as a first in series box set or a taster box set, group box sets. Like there's lots and lots of ways to do it. You could use it as a freebie to give away on a raffle copter. So there are other ways to use it, but this one is just specifically relating to BookFunnel at the moment. So when you've got your reader magnet up, BookFunnel has two ways that you can use your reader magnet. So there's sales promotions if it's free on Amazon, which does work, and you will send a lot of people to it. But again, you're not capturing their email, so you're not necessarily keeping them. There might be an email link where they can subscribe to your book at the end of the book, but there's no guarantee they're going to click on that. When you give them the reader magnet, you set it up as a landing page that says they must opt in to your newsletter to get the story. Not they can, they might, next Sunday, they must opt in. When I first set my first one up, I called a friend who'd helped me set it up, and I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. I feel like a real bitch. I'm pushing people into my newsletter and I'm going to spam them all over the place. She's like, just stop, sell them your book. Like, okay. So they must opt in. Put it into as many newsletter promotions on BookFunnel as you feel that you're comfortable promoting for the month. For someone, that might be 1 or 2 a month. So on BookFunnel, there are newsletter promotions and sales promotions. We're looking at newsletter promotions. So you can go through on the left-hand side down the column, about 4 or 5 rows down, there is promotions you want, and you go into your genre. So we'll start with, I don't know, starts with mystery and suspense, sci-fi, something. Go to your genre and start scrolling through. And you'll find lots and lots of different hundreds and hundreds of newsletter promotions and sales promotions. And you can filter it so that you see dates or what sort you're looking at or whatever works best for you. Go through and join a couple of those, maybe two or 4 to start with, and see how you go. What you're going to promise is that unless you're an erotica writer, usually your cover is not erotica because it turns off clean readers. And it will get you in trouble some places. So if you're a erotica writer, ignore that. You probably know your stuff. Otherwise, we can talk later because I do that too. You're going to promise to share it on across socials for the duration of the promotion. So it might say that it starts on the 1st of November and ends on the 25th of November, something like that. You promise to share it at least once in your newsletter, and it's going to give you a link. You have to use that link in your newsletter. And it records the amount of hits that link gets so that the organizer has proof that you have shared it. No one else can see that except you and the organizer. No one else, okay? You send the newsletter out on your date, say it's the 15th of November that you're sending out on, and you go into that promotion and you save the header, which is just like the little graphic header, and you save the link. There is a link that says your link and it'll say copy. You just press copy on there. You go to your newsletter for that day that you're sending out, you add in the header, and you just highlight it and embed the link into it. It is a 2-second process, really, really simple and easy, just like embedding something into any newsletter or email, okay? Really, really easy. You share that same link on socials. No need to save the header for that one because it will come up automatically. And that's it. That's all that you're required to do. The more often you do it, the more places you share, the more hits you will get. So that benefits you plus everybody else in the promotion. So in that case, it's just like an anthology with a lot of authors promoting at the same time to get more hits on something, okay? For an anthology, it's sales. For newsletters, it's subscribers. It will record how many hits, and it is a bit of a random set of numbers. So you think you've had 100 clicks on it, but it only recorded 10. You can't fight with it, just go with it. Usually it relates to whether it thinks it's an original click or somebody's clicked twice or so, or things like that. It's a funny little system. Whatever that number is, just look at it. Some promotions, the ones that I run, I ask you to have at least 20 clicks over, at least 20 over the period of the promotion. And I ask you to share by your share date, okay? If you don't, I will remove people from my promotions, because otherwise it means that there are a lot of freeloaders getting sales or subscribers when others aren't putting in the effort, and lots are. There's plenty of people out there with small small newsletters, and they get 500 or 600 clicks. So it is absolutely possible. You just need to work hard at it. It benefits you hugely, and you will keep these people, providing that you've got your genre right, your book is in the right place, you've positioned it well, and that you're pushing. Story Origin also has a similar platform. I found it's not as effective, but other people love it. I use both, and I use them both for different reasons. So BookFunnel I only use for sales and for newsletter promotions and to send out my ARCs. That's it. I don't do the book, what genre somebody's in. I can't see how big their newsletter is, and I can't see whether or not it's stale. So on Story Origin, you can see a little row of stats for every person who's swapping. We'll show you how many people are in the newsletter. It will show you what genres they are, if they're Amazon mixed or wide, what their click rate is. So if they have a 25,000 newsletter and it's got a 1% click rate, it is a stale list. They haven't cleaned it out and nobody's clicking. If they have a 1,700 size newsletter and they have a 45% click rate, they are looking after their newsletter, people are clicking, and you're probably going to get some really good sales out of it. So being able to interpret stats in that way will help you, but I find that Story Origin is better for swaps and BookFunnel is better for the sales and the newsletter promotions and your ARCs. Setting up your newsletter and integrating BookFunnel, I'm not going to go through the process. You can get 5-minute YouTube videos on how to do it, and it's really, really simple. So make sure that you've got a login for a newsletter platform, MailChimp, MailerLite, whatever you want to use. I use ZenFox because I've got a bigger list, but start with something free and really intuitive so that you can learn. And it's really, really easy to do. Integrate those two and get yourself started with BookFunnel. The other thing I get asked about is what to put in your newsletter. So either people don't have readers or they don't know what to write. It honestly doesn't matter if you have 2 people letter as you would to 2 people as you would to write to 20,000 people. It's still the same newsletter either way. Start with your branding, your author brand, something about you. If you don't have author branding, talk to me at the end. We can do something on that later. Start with your author branding. Start with something about you, something that happened. You can write a paragraph, you can write 2 paragraphs, or if you're like me and you start with a paragraph and you accidentally waffle, you can end up with a couple of pages about what you did that week or that month in your writing life or in your personal life that you want to share. Animals and pets work really, really well. Kids work really well. I wouldn't recommend sharing pictures of your kids, but you can do things like line up all the ugly sweaters that your family has and take a photo of them. Or maybe you are an avid gardener or a cook and you can take pictures of those sorts of things. Readers love to see into the world of an author. It doesn't matter if we think it's boring, mundane and everyday. They want to see everything that we do. They really do. More than just that, once they get to know you, they want to know that you hurt. They want to know that you struggle. They want to see the same angst that you have in your books in your life. I accidentally wrote a little diatribe a couple of months ago on imposter syndrome. I totally didn't mean to. It just popped out. And by the time I'd finished, I went, oh, well, that was therapeutic. We'll send it anyway. I got so many responses from that. And girls printed it out and took it to their book club in Canada and the USA. And it was just mind-boggling that people wanted to see these things. I'm like, okay, this is what you guys want. I can provide that because there's plenty of stress going on in my life. I'm happy to share with you. So share your wins, share your lows. Don't whinge, but make them understand we are writers. We write angst and we write emotions. So show them your emotions as well. Whatever you do, make your author voice consistent with your actual writing voice. You don't have to write it in character, although some do. We've got shared worlds that Lolo and I are in, and one of the girls, Vanity, writes our newsletters as her character. And that works really, really well for that series. But for you as an author, you don't have to write as a character, although you can. Just write as you and make sure that your author voice is consistent with your books and what you put out on social media. This is part of your author brand, just the same way as a book or a cover or a logo, a part of your author brand. But the author brand is the umbrella that encompasses everything up and go, that's a Sophia newsletter, that's a Sophia cover, that's a Sophia graphic, that's a Sophia book, without actually thinking too much about it. We want to look at it and go, this is who I am as a brand. Is really, really critical. In your header lines, be very cautious on your wording, especially if you're giving away something for free. There are lots and lots of words that will get you put into spam, directly into spam. You won't pass go and no readers are going to read your newsletter. Free, blast, sale. There's probably 200 or 300 of these and I've gone absolutely blank on the whole lot. There's a stack of them. If you look through, go through your spam inbox and have a look at all the stuff that's come through from eBay or from Alibaba's cave or from Blowjo in India who's trying to sell you rug tiles or something like that. There's a whole stack of them you'll find that have all these, sale on now, must buy now, can't wait, all this sort of pressure selling. Any of that in your header will get you sent to spam. There is only one way to get away from it, and is to have your readers whitelist your books or not use those words. Free, sometimes you can get away with capital FR and then the 2 3s, or a little e and an asterisk. Like there's different ways, if you misspell things and replace them like we do on TikTok, you can get away with those sorts of things if you have to use it. Otherwise, be creative and use a bit of hook, basically. Give them a reason to open your newsletter and be smarter about it. Don't use too many graphics compared to the amount of text. So if you're going to have a whole newsletter full of text, that's awesome. And you can grab quite a few graphics and put it in there to balance it out. If it's going to be 2 lines of text and 35 graphics, you're probably going to end up in quite a few spam inboxes. It just seems to be one of the things that trigger it. I send out weekly. You can send out however often you like. But however you do it, I would recommend that in your newsletter somewhere, ask your readers to respond. You'll probably get the same people over time responding each week, but get them to respond, whether it's about their favourite cookie colour, what they're doing for winter, if they've read this, what their last book hangover was. There's a million things you could ask them, how they want their eggs cooked in the morning for breakfast and if they eat bacon or not, how they have their coffee, anything that you like. But get them to reply to your newsletters periodically, because if they do, their server will automatically whitelist you and recognise you as not spam so that you don't end up in their spam folder. Because part of writing your newsletter and getting it out there isn't just writing the thing and putting the books in and doing all the right things. It's about getting people to open it. And if they can't see it, they will not open it. Automations. Now, this is coming into advanced stuff. So once you've got your newsletter set up, what you can do is you can set up automations. Automations are an introductory set or series of emails that go out to your readers. So like Paula was talking about earlier, when her readers jump onto her email, they get the reader magnet, and then a couple of days later, an automation goes out and offers a second reader magnet, another free book. I've got 3 in my series. So I've got a welcome email. Thanks for joining. You've downloaded this. Make sure to read your book. I I'll be back with a couple more things. Here's my website in the meantime, bye. And it's just a short, tiny, tiny little paragraph, and it welcomes them to my newsletter so that they know that they've got me and I've got them too. The next one asks about what trope they like best to read. So I give a couple of my favourite ones and I say about what I write, and then I ask them what they like to read most or what they've read recently. It serves two purposes. It whitelists me for them, and it lets me know whether or not they're my reader, and over time what sort of tropes people want to be reading that's on my list, so that if I go, oh geez, do I really want to write an enemies to lovers again, and I find out that I've got a whole heap of people coming in who want to read that trope, I will write that book to tailor to them. So you are doing research at the same time. Be smart about it. The third one offers chapter 1 of 2 books, and then they go into my normal newsletter. So the whole sequence takes about 9 days, I think mine take, and then they will start receiving regular emails. You can do that. It's really easy. There's a little symbol usually for automations somewhere on your newsletter provider, and you just set it up with a couple of little bits and put your links in there, get them to follow you on socials, ask them a couple of questions, get them to reply, and they will continue to get your emails that way. The other ways that you can get people to sign up for your newsletter is have it on your website, put it on socials occasionally, join competitions where to get an entry in, they have to sign up for your newsletter, put bonus scenes and deleted scenes in the back of your books, do newsletter spots with other authors for your reader magnet where they have to sign up, do extra epilogues. There's get them to have a QR code on your signing table at events, and get people to sign up as they come past. If they don't buy a book, they sign up. If they buy a book, always invite them to sign up to your newsletter so that they can catch up with the next thing that you bring out. That's pretty much everything I've got on my little thingy because my computer wasn't playing ball this morning. Have you guys got questions?
So many. But it will look all good. This is all really good stuff. Thank you so much.
All right, go for it.
I had a question and then I thought I'd hold it, and I should have put it in the chat so I didn't forget it. You have been very comprehensive, and
Yes.
I would love to have you do another presentation for us down the road on author branding. Right now we have this event scheduled out through February, but you know, perhaps you would like to do something in March. I would love that.
Yeah,
I think.
Yep.
You know, I try to find subjects that I know I've struggled with, and that I think other authors struggle with, or have struggled with them at some point. So
yeah,
that one I think is a big one, branding.
Yeah.
My branding's behind me, and I don't know, you know, it's like I try and put this logo on newsletters and things and stick with these colors, but I know that branding is so much more than that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Branding was something that I got my first kick in the back about. JJ King messaged me after I put out my second book, and I think I was in Romance Writers League, and I was like, you know, like sludge on the ground, and I was too scared to reply to anybody or ask a question in there, and there was no way in hell I'd post. And she messaged me out of the blue. She's like, your author branding is inconsistent, it's shit, fix it up. And I'm like, okay, great. So the next week I went out and I learned everything there was about author branding, and I fixed it all up. Yeah.
You know, Sophia, I struggle with the color aspect because when I first started, I wrote the one book, and then I didn't even plan a series. And people are like, where's the next book? And I'm like, what do you mean, where's the next book? Oh, well, okay. So then I went into a series, and then I, deer in headlights, threw up a website with any old colors I wanted. And then somebody told me, no, you've got a brand with colors. So I hired somebody to do a website for me who said, okay, here's the branding. If it's, for example, wildfire colors, you need danger colors. If you write romantic suspense, danger, yellow, red, orange, that kind of thing. Yep. So that's what she did. And she branded my website that way. Well, time goes on. Now I'm writing romantic comedy and romantic thriller. So here I am with these danger colors going, oh man, now what?
You know, you
But
can,
doesn't-
you
Honestly,
can Google.
because your Alaska series is still your main one, it probably still works for you. You like I said, my colors are aqua and rose gold. I am seriously considering over Christmas rebranding to midnight blue and rose gold, because I feel that's how I've graduated in my books too, because I've diversified as well. What I do is on each page that I've got, I listed out all my series or the sections. They have different colors on those pages. So I think that, like with my Raven Hush stuff, like the book that's releasing today, I've got all the branding that Evan and I gave me, and I changed the colors, and I managed to actually tint the background. I was very impressed with myself that I was that technologically advanced, and managed to tint the background a little bit darker, because they are darker books, you know, so it sort of suited that. You know, you go to something that's Blue Blooded Brothers, it's all like city and noir sort of stuff. So yeah, you can make little tweaks, but yeah, have a serious think about what it's going to look like when those series are finished.
Okay,
But
thank you.
also,
Yeah.
one thing I have done is I years ago, and I don't remember how I found it, but I found a huge dissertation on the meaning of colors, and it took all the different colors, and it even broke it down to like 10 shades of yellow and 10 shades of red and pink.
Oh my gosh.
And what that, I found it on an advertising or marketing page, but it and the nuances between like a yellow green and a jade green and a forest green, I'm just amazed at the psychological differences in those colors. You wouldn't really think about it, where some will draw you in and some won't. And it also explained the positives and the negatives. If anybody wants a copy of that, I'd be happy to send it to them. Just
That'd be really cool,
Yeah.
actually.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
Would
So
love that.
maybe I'll put I'll figure out how to send it out.
Yeah.
I'll post it somewhere in the group.
Sophia, I've got a really specific question. And so it's all about me. It's literally because I haven't got anything really published. The only thing that's out there for me is actually on BookFunnel. It's an anthology for Christmas. Is a newsletter builder. So someone else has organized it and I've jumped on, I'm promoting it. Exactly as you say, it's a promo. We're all having to sign up to do certain things. But I have then planning to, because I've got a really busy beginning of the year, launch myself on the world and my first series onto obviously Amazon in March, early April, and it's a 3-book series, and there's a big gap, obviously. So I got my Christmas book and it's going really well, and I've got like 3,000 emails already, and I'm like, woohoo! So I'm sending out all the newsletter fluff stuff that you talked about, you know, a bit about me and la 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 la. In the meantime, but I've got a huge gap, so I was thinking I would do a reader magnet for Valentine's. Do you think I should then relate it to the series?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Hesitate.
And is that too big a gap between Christmas and Valentine's to keep interest if I keep my newsletters good or tight? And
I would probably, between Christmas and Valentine's, if you've got 3,000 people, that should be probably 6 to 7 emails between those two. Yep. And do you have your pre-orders up?
No.
Okay, so I would consider.
Do you do a long pre-order or a short pre-order?
Mine are anywhere between 4 months and 12 months.
Wow.
And my 12 months ones are ones that I'm looking for. So they're usually a first in series, and they're usually a lower price point for the release. I have done 99-cent ones. They don't earn a lot, but if you're unknown, it is a great way to get your book out there, and then use books 2 and 3 to earn a bit more income. With your series, if you have books 1 to 3 to hook them, if you get them through book 3, they are yours for life. They want to read what you've got. If you don't hook them through book 3, you've lost them. They won't come back.
Okay. So I guess I need to organize my cover then for the first one.
Yes.
Shit.
Organize the cover, learn categories, do all the things.
Yeah. God, it's just so much to organize and to get my head around.
It is. Do one platform a week. One thing a week.
Awesome.
Don't overload yourself.
No.
Sophia, I've got a newsletter question, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you tailor your newsletters and send them out based on the genres and tropes that people are reading and are interested in, or do you send like just have one newsletter list and send everything to everyone?
I have lots of different segments, lots and lots of different things, including author-based promotional ones. I've got kid lit, I've got BDSM and erotic romance, I've got fantasy, romantic
So
suspense.
they really can't go to
contemporary.
everyone.
So, but I will send some things to everyone. So I have a release today at 4 o'clock. That email will go out to everybody I know because I want as many sales as possible.
And how do you?
If they don't like me at that point, I can't help them.
How do you funnel people into the right channels?
I ask them, or from different reader magnets, they will go to a different list. But
Okay,
so we'd send box. I have to do it that way. There is no other way for me to separate it unless I did it manually, and that would be an utter pain in the backside. With MailChimp and MailerLite, I think you can do with MailerLite, you can segment. So there's a segment tool, and you can use that to divide people. You can run a poll and get answers, or use a form and use and segment through those.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, thank you.
Awesome. Is there anyone else?
I'm just wondering, Sophia, on the segmentation, how do you set that up? I mean, how do you know how to divide up the readers? You know what I mean?
Gosh, it's been such a long time since I used MailChimp because Terry does all that.
Oh,
MailerLite.
I'm on MailerLite, but the segmentation, I just don't know how to divide up the groups, the readers to set up the segments.
Yeah. I would use a poll or something similar that collects newsletters. So I remember when Eve Mitchell moved from one provider to another, she sent out a newsletter and said, hey, things are going to look different. Just so you know, I'm still me, but I've moved providers and I'd like to know, would you like to hear about fantasy? Would you like to hear about Dark Mafia in college? Would you like to hear about everything or only sales? And you clicked on as many of those as you wanted, and she segmented that way and created new lists that way. What you can do with segments is, and this is a bit more advanced again, it's cleaning out your list. So I do mine every 6 weeks and I do it manually because I'm SendFox, but you can use the segment tool on other platforms and you can cull it by, say you do it every 90 days, someone who hasn't opened a single email in 90 days, because it doesn't actually matter at that point if they haven't opened an email in 90 days. Their provider won't send your email into their inbox anymore. They'll just send it to spam, or they won't send it at all. They seem to get lost somewhere in between you sending and then them opening. It just doesn't exist. So you cull those people. What you can do after you've had a newsletter on most platforms is you've sent it out, say 35% opened it and up to 2% unsubscribed. Get rid of your unsubscribes, they're gone. The ones that didn't open it, to your unopens, resend that email 2 days later and see if you can get some more opens from the people who haven't opened your newsletter, so that next time when you send an email out, maybe you get 38% who open it, or maybe you get 45%. So increase your opens, because that's a huge, huge deal, because once they've opened it, they're far more likely to click on it because they're interested. You've got them. It's just like bonding in a book. You've got to keep them interested and keep them wanting to open that email.
Yeah.
Under that circumstance of sending out to the unopens, would you use the same header line, or would you change the header line?
No, I would use exactly the same one again. The only time I change it is if I screwed something up, and then I do a Britney, oops, I've done it again, sorry, I stuffed up a link or a graphic or redact or whatever,
Because I've heard that, and you read different things and you hear different things, and like I have nothing to do but test, and I know that's what I should be doing.
Yep.
And I have done some A/B testing on using just different headers to see if that makes a difference. And sometimes it does.
Yep. If you feel that your line might have one of those words in it that's going to get you sent to spam, change it up and resend it. If 2% opened it, something went wrong. So
Yeah.
change something, absolutely. But if you get these people, your regular amount of people opening it, you probably don't need to change anything. Just resend it to the extra people.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And
Any
don't
other
forget to ask them
questions?
questions.
If we don't have any other questions, we'll wrap it. But I want to thank you so much, Sophia.
Yeah.
You have been
Absolutely.
an excellent resource for myself and everybody here. And some people had to leave early or couldn't come, and it will be reposted. I mean, I will post the replay tomorrow in Romance Dreamweavers. If you want a link, Sophia, I can send you a link for you to use in any way that you want. Okay, will do.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you.
All
Thanks so
right.
much for
everyone.
your time.
Thank you for listening. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.